What's up? What's going on, everybody? And in this video, I am going over hip mobility. If you see, I start in this 90-90 position and my knee is going up to the sky. All right, what we're doing here is working your external rotation. So we're getting some good activation from all those muscles that are going to connect into the hip. Now we have a 10-second hold at the top, and I'm really squeezing that left glute to make sure everything stays nice and engaged. All right, and then now we're going to bring the leg up and over to the front. Nice and simple, up and over. In this one, you're thinking about trying to keep your back up nice and tall. And again, this one is working the glutes, but it's also working a good amount in the hip flexors. These tend to be tight and weak, and we need to battle both of these. So in this, we're mostly focusing on strength. And then we'll do the same exact thing on the other side. If you guys are finding value from this video, definitely hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know how you're feeling about the video so far, if you need anything explained more. Also, I have a website where I have a stretching program on there. You guys can check that out. Link will be in the description below, but it will be www.relaxrestorerecover.com. All right, and I hope this is bringing some value to you guys. Definitely share it with somebody that needs it. Share the message. Got to move your body. All right, as you see, we're coming to the end of this one, and now we are working on going from side to side, so just working that 90-90 position. Now, all I'm doing is really just getting my hips to open up a little bit. We're going to 10 on this, and legs are just going side to side, kind of like windshield wipers, and this is just to open up the hips and just create some space in there and just get them moving around. Most of the time, we're sitting down so much that we don't even get a chance to fully internally and externally rotate the hips. So this is just one way to do it. All right, and now we're doing it much more controlled. So I'm really using all those external rotator muscles in the hips to get my legs going from side to side. And I hope you guys are following along with this. And this can definitely help. All of these exercises can definitely help out with not only hip pain, knee pain, and lower body pain that you may have, but also back pain, especially lower back pain. All of these muscles that we're working in here, they have some influence on pulling the pelvis forward, or creating some more stability in the pelvis. So you want to make sure that these muscles are not only strong, but you can also move them around pretty easily. This will reduce the lower back pain you tend to have, as I said before, the knee pain you may have, and also any of the hip pain that you may have can be strength related. So this is exactly why you would use some of these exercises. In my personal opinion, you can do these, or really I do some version of this every single day. It may not take the full 13 minutes or so that this video is taking, but I definitely do some version of these exercises every single day. For this video, what I would do is I would do this probably about 3 to 4 times a week, especially if you have weak, immobile hips, and that will definitely help you guys out. And here we are on to the next thing, and we're focused on internal rotation. So my foot is coming off of the ground. I'm really working all those adductor muscles, all those muscles that'll bring the hip in. So all those muscles are going to be internal rotators, and we're doing the same thing on the other side. You may notice that one side is weaker than the other, especially my left side. That whole hip complex is just weaker than the other. You can see my foot is not as high when we ended that one. All right, in this next one, we are going to be moving on to some T-spine rotation. Here, if you notice, I am rotating back with that same side arm. What we're doing here is trying to open up the T-spine. Why would you want to open up your T-spine? Well, your T-spine is really your rib cage area. And when you twist, and like when you walk, or when you're doing most twisting motions, right? You want to be twisting from your T-spine. That is supposed to be mobile. What happens is that the T-spine gets locked up and you try to compensate by turning more from your lower back, and the lower back is supposed to be more of a point of stability, not one that is going to be moving around a lot. So you want to make sure that your T-spine is nice and open. So this will help you not only take away some of that shoulder pain that you may be feeling, but also some of that low back pain just by just getting things to function a little bit better. All right, moving right along over here, we are going to hip CARs, all right, where those are controlled articulated rotations. What am I doing here? I am getting the muscles in my hips to fire. I'm seeing what kind of range of motion do I have, what kind of control do I have in my hips. So I am trying to ground everything else in my body. Hands are pressed to the floor, opposite knee is pressed to the floor, opposite toe is pressed to the floor, and I am rotating my leg around. You can also do this in the opposite way. I just didn't want to make this video super long by doing everything. All right, so that's why I only went this way, but you can sure rotate it in the opposite direction. Now, if you'll see in a few seconds, my camera is going to look up to the sky, and that is because you can see it's super windy outside and the tripod almost blew away, but somehow miraculously comes back down in that same spot. I didn't notice that until I watched the video myself. Random side story, but here we're working on freeing up the adductors. All right, so all those muscles that bring the legs together, those tend to be pretty tight because that is where we hold not only tension from sitting down, because the hip flexors are flexed when you're sitting down, but also these tend to be muscles that if you're stressed a lot are going to be really tight. For some reason, we tend to hold a lot of tension there. What we're doing there is just going front to back. And here I am pushing my leg down into the ground. So now I'm getting my adductors to fire. So before I was stretching them out, and then I go right into one where I am firing them. Now I am working the abductors, okay? And what those do are help externally rotate my leg, but also create stability in the hip. So I am just doing end range of motion pulses there, and then I end up doing the same exact thing on this side. So you want to make sure that your foot is nice and flat on the ground. The hips are going back and forth. I'm getting about 7 out of 10 stretch here. It's not supposed to feel like it's going to rip off, but it should be mildly uncomfortable. And then once I get the reps in over there, I then stop and I am pushing my right foot down into the ground now, and I am getting those adductor muscles that I just stretched to fire. So you should feel that right in your growing area. And obviously, we all know that we need to strengthen that. No one likes a pulled growing. And here now we're working again end range of motion for those abductors. And you can see there's a clear difference on the sides. Like my right leg is so much stronger. And this is why I do these exercises. because there are imbalances that you may not even notice. You may not even notice that you're doing some of these, and imbalances tend to lead to some injuries. What I'm doing here on the next one is control. I was about to say controlled something. There, I was doing an adductor stretch. All right, so now I'm doing double adductor stretch, and that one is pretty savage. You should definitely try that one out. And now I'm going to go into some squats. You know, everything feels pretty good. I'm just going to go into, I think, about 10 squats here. And yeah, my legs are feeling pretty good at this point. I like to do something similar to this each day, as I said before in the beginning of the video, because keeping your hips healthy is going to be able to keep your knees and your back nice and healthy. In this one, I have been working on trying to keep my legs a little bit more pointed forward. As you can see, they have a tendency to point out. I don't think that's such a bad thing, but I can tell when I just have deficiencies that are leading me to turn my feet out more than necessary. Obviously, everybody's hips are different, so some people may need to turn their feet out a little bit more, but that's just that. All right, here we are going to be stretching the hip flexors, but also I am getting rotation again in that T-spine. So with the knee that is down, that same side hand is going to go over the top of the head leaning, and the hand that's outstretched is rotating to the side. So now I am getting a side bend, but also some rotation, helping to not only open up that hip, but also open up the T-spine. Those things work together. Chances are, if you have bad hip mobility, you are going to have bad T-spine mobility. And you want both of those to be very high, because we do a lot of things that cause us to rotate, especially whenever you take any sort of steps or running motion, and you want to make sure that your body is functioning as optimally as possible so that you are not creating any injuries that could have easily been avoided. That is the main reason why I do a lot of this stuff. So now we're going to go into another little adductor stretch. So in this one, the elbow that is down, you're going to feel that on that side of the of your leg. So now my right hand is coming up and down. I'm going to feel that in my right leg, in the inside, in the adductors, and I'm rotating my T-spine here, making sure that I get that involved. All right. And on that one, I tend to get some cracks and pops in there, and it honestly feels pretty good. So obviously we get the other side, trying to get that elbow down as far as you can. If you can't get it down all the way, that is perfectly fine. Just go at your level. I hope this has helped you guys out. I will see you in the next video. Peace.